dear goddess, wild woman, sister, Marilyn Harper. Hi, Marilyn.
Hello, Amber. Thank you so much for having me on.
I am delighted to have you on. No pun intended. Um, for those of you listening, this interview is on December 2nd, 2016. Snow lightly falling here in Colorado. And I'm talking with Marilyn Harper, who is a channel and spiritual healer. And I'm so excited that you're coming to Boulder this year.
I am excited as well. I've never been to Boulder in the winter. I've actually only been to Boulder twice in my whole life.
Now, I know you hang out quite a bit in Crestone, but that's a whole nother world from Boulder and the Cryon event, that's for sure.
Yes, it is.
So just to touch on a few points of who you are and how you got to the other end of the line with me today, you were just a normal person and actually a deacon in the Christian church and selling advertising on country western radio station. You live in Missouri and you're, not Boulder. Not, they call it 5 square miles surrounded by reality, Boulder, Colorado. But
yeah, I like
that. And it's about the truest truth of that place. This place. So you had an awakening in 1996 that really set you on the spiritual path, and something happened called a walk-in experience. Now, I know that we've talked about this a couple of years ago when we did Manifest Your Mastery, but we might have a whole new audience. So I'm really interested in this because I think there are a lot of people listening, not listening, who have had experiences of feeling like they don't belong, they don't fit, they wake up one day and everything's different, and etc. And I think it's different for everyone who has this experience. But I would love for you to give us, the quick version of what happened to you, and what's happened since.
Well, it was quite an unusual undertaking for me because as you say, I was deacon in the Christian church. I was not metaphysical at all. I was like well grounded in the world of reality, and it was actually I had a walk-in, which is a soul exchange. That means that due to a prior agreement, a contractual agreement, the soul who was born into this body decided to leave, and another soul came in to take their place instead of the body dying. It happened as far as complications following a surgery, and it was actually in 1993 when that happened. However, till 96, I had no idea what had happened. I thought I'd lost my mind. I woke up to what had happened in 1996. So that's really the awakening. 93, I couldn't do the same things. I didn't have the same interests. I was not. I was challenging in my church. I couldn't wear the same clothes. It was a total shift. I was a pretty profound writer before, and afterwards I could hardly write a sentence in English. It was like English became my second language. And so then when I woke up in 1996, due to a series of events in a short amount of time, I learned of Ruth Montgomery and the book Strangers Among Us. And I realized that's indeed what had happened to me. And Amber, I would not have believed that was even possible had I not experienced it.
Yeah, it's really, well, as you said, your life and you are completely different. And, it sounds weird when you talk about it, but when you've experienced it, you say, oh, yeah.
I know. It's like, when in the early 90s, 80s, something like that, I actually threw away Shirley MacLaine's book Out on a Limb because it talked about channeling, and I thought, oh my gosh, that's sacrilegious. And so little did I know that I would be making my living as a channel.
How interesting, isn't it? Isn't it always? So, how did you go from that, oh my God, what happened and what am I doing, to, being a part of the metaphysical world the way that you are?
Well, that's a great question, Amber. When I woke up, I realized that I had new gifts, new talents, new skills that I didn't have before, and I didn't have any idea what they were. So I started having an energy session a week with a friend of mine who was, 2 steps ahead of me on the metaphysical path. And we did clearing out, in my brain, it was like I was like a glass of water, and I needed to empty out some of the old water to make room for the new water. And so I had an energy clearing, and then I went to my first walk-in conference and met someone there that introduced me to automatic or inspired writing. And I started doing that. In fact, I actually have a recording, a CD recording in my store online that has the meditation that I use. And I still use it. It's called Messages from Your Soul. And in the automatic and inspired writing, it was really like a how-to manual, a step-by-step guide as to what had happened, how it happened, and what was going to be presenting itself to me in the future. They said in 1996 that I would be making my living as a channel, and I'm like, no, I don't think
Not
so.
this girl. I love it.
I know. But in the next 3 years, it was, I became more and more awake. I learned more. I became less afraid of spirit. And I started, because I think my training being in automatic writing, I knew exactly what my own guidance system, my own higher self felt like when they were speaking to me, and I was writing it down. When I became a Reiki, I think it was level 2, I realized I had the ability to actually see into people's bodies, kind of like looking at an X-ray. And then I started hearing other voices in my head that were not a part of my guidance system. And I'm like, you get on out of here. And it was during a Reiki session that I heard another voice that identified themselves as Serapis Bey, and saying that they would like to use me as a channel, and that they had a message for the person that I was working with. And I'm like, I had no idea who Serapis Bey was at that time. And
Sounds like a nice place in Mexico.
I know, but actually he's one of the ascended masters, and he, I argued with him telepathically, and finally I surrendered, and he brought in some amazing information that I could never have gotten to, and that really opened the pathway for Adironnda, who is, I think, a similar complement to Cryon. Cryon is in magnetic service, and Adironnda is from the 17th dimension. So you've seen us on stage together. They work really, in the mega channeling spectacular at the Summer Light Conference. It's quite there were 12 other channels there, but it's quite interesting to see how Adironnda and Cryon interrelate to each other.
I was there, and it was like a little tete-a-tete. It was great. It was, it brought out the humor in the Cryon, because there is a sense of humor on the other side, big time. It's us that think, oh no, they shouldn't be joking. They're spiritual.
I know.
So good. I really like that.
Yeah, it was quite fun. I loved it when Adironnda mentioned that the audience was so bright we needed to be wearing sunglasses, and then Cryon went and got a pair of sunglasses and put them on.
I love it.
It was great.
Well, speaking of the big K, Cryon, we're getting ready. It's only 5 weeks until Lee Carroll and Cryon and you and Prageet Harris are here in Boulder with us. And I'm so excited about that because you've not been a part of our event in Boulder before. And ooh-wee.
I am so excited to be a part of the event in Boulder. Even coming in the day before, on the 6th, that Friday,
Yeah.
it's so exciting to get to present a new workshop that I'm doing, Stop Self-Sabotage and Activate Your Awesome Life. It's so, you know, your work, Amber, with the Lemurian Sisterhood, and Lee's work with Cryon, and Prageet with Alcazar. I always have to do, and the
You got
Stargate,
it.
Alcazar and the Stargate. I did have the opportunity to channel on stage with Alcazar at the Summer Light Conference this year, and it's like, whoo, talk about rattling the rafters and
Yeah.
the energy.
Yeah. So let's talk for a minute about stop self-sabotage. I love that because something Prageet said to me the other day when we were interviewing was about New Year's resolutions. And we always do that, getting to this time of year. Most people start thinking about, okay, clean slate, January 1, I'm gonna, and I'm not gonna, and I'm not gonna, and I'm not going to. And there is a wave of intention that presents that we don't necessarily have that often, not in terms of self-change. I mean, we may have a wave of intention around Valentine's Day for, our beloved, or love in the world, or, different holidays and things like that, or birthdays. But this is pretty much, certainly across our country and countries in Europe that celebrate Christmas and celebrate New Year. And so we can jump on that wave and, add to it, jump on it, and really anchor something for 2017, like SSS, Stopping Self-Sabotage. I love that. So you're going to present that on Friday, and I'm very excited.
I'm excited too. It's a process that, it fits so perfectly with the new year because, Prageet is right. You are right that most people many times will make a huge long list of everything that they're doing in this year, everything that they're healing, they're acknowledging, they're whatever in this year. And then by mid-January or the 1st of February, it all kind of piddles down and it doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah.
And this workshop is really about getting into the cellular programming of the body and the cellular field in, a 5-foot radius around the body, and getting those old programs that you may not even be aware are actually still controlling your decision-making process because they're so subconscious. And we actually use a technique that I've never seen anywhere else, so I'll say I created it. Of bringing it up to the surface of the cellular field, and then, man, we pop it out and let it go, and it creates such an energetic connection that people that use this technique in other aspects, it just shifts their entire reality. And then we spend the time building your perfect life, what it is that you are creating, your awesome life. What are you creating in your life, and there's a whole, as you know, Amber, there's a whole new way of manifesting these days.
Absolutely.
You know, if
Yep.
you were
Yep. Yep.
manifesting the same way you were manifesting before 2012, no wonder you're
Uh-uh.
frustrated.
Yeah. Well, and you know what I love is that you've creating the, making space for it, the letting go first. We can't just it's like having a New Year's resolution about going to the gym or eating better or being, saying please and thank you or whatever. If we don't know we don't actually even need to know why we're not doing it, but we need to let go of the mechanisms that keep us anchored in an old way of being, thinking, and feeling first, before we can let the good, new, juicy stuff that's going to really make our lives, I love what you said, pop. I love that. It's step one, then step two. And I love that you're doing it that way. I am excited. And you're going to be doing that right at the Boulder Marriott, right where Cryon is going to be the next day, and you're going to be with him.
I know. I'm so excited. It's so.
And, I was saying, just so everyone that's listening knows, that Lee and Cryon have never done a dual channel in Boulder in all the years that I've been hosting him. And most of you know that have our faithful attendance year after year, that it's only recently that we've gone to 2-day events, because we have so many wonderful people bringing so much healing and so much energy that is a part of the work of Cryon, is to expose people to these other energies and to these other ways of healing. But in all of that time, it's almost 15 years that I've been hosting Lee now. He has never channeled on stage in Boulder with anyone else. So yada-da, this is going to be a first on Saturday, and that is so exciting to me, because we create a specific resonance, this family that comes together every year. And what comes forth from that, I believe, really anchors me for the rest of the year. And I think it anchors a few others too, every now and then. So that it's going to be a special, spectacular day. And of course, with your foundation day on Friday of setting up self-sabotage. Ooh-ee.
Yes, and letting go of all those self-sabotaging, and then anchoring in the work with, the dual channeling, and on Saturday and of course, Cryon is so, Lee, Cryon and you, it's just such a magnificent weekend. It's like, how could anybody miss it?
It's a party.
It is.
Yeah. Well, speaking of channeling, I would be just delighted, and I'm sure people listening would be too, if Adironnda would like to come through and give us some wisdom.
I would love that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna. I'm a little different than some of the other channels. I do a little anchoring in to just step aside. So I'll share that with you.
Okay, let's do that.
I deliberately clear and seal all this space, all sides, all directions, above and below, around anyone who hears this, and know that they are held and protected in the love of light and followers of divine light. I ask that I'm honored to be a direct channel for the Holy Spirit and the cosmic Christ consciousness, and I ask that all information that comes through is for the divine right, highest good and highest joy of each person that listens to this, now and in the future. And I'm thankful I can step aside my own personal beliefs and paradigms, my programs, so that all information that comes through is clear, concise, and succinct. And for this I give thanks. So it is good day to you, divine being Amber, yourself the Lemurian goddess that leads the world to honor their Lemurian roots. It is Adironnda, and we have with us the Council of Light. As you know, dearest, you are a pinnacle catalyst in the forward evolution of this planet. You're aware of this, yes?
Thank you.
Yes, and as you acknowledge that goddess, as you acknowledge the goddess energy from ancient Lemuria, you are actually bringing the masculine and feminine into that place of balance. You understand? And as you are igniting that, we know that 2017 is the year of leaping forth, leaping off the edge of that cliff. 2012 was the change, 2013 was the chaos, 2014 was figuring out what happened in the chaos, 2015 and 16 was rebuilding the spiritual pathways that we are moving forward in these days, and 2017, it is like we are jumping into the abyss with the confidence and energy that we will soar throughout this year, and know that there are so many changes that are occurring for 2017. The political system, the legal system, the financial system, it has all been building up to this change. The system of peace, the system of humanity, to acknowledge the diversity in the humans that are on this planet now, that you, and of course our dearest Cryon, and Lee Carroll and Pragit, we are all igniting that vibrational frequency with that first of the year intention. You see, that many people will write in that first of the year, I wish to be all that I am, all that I could possibly be. And what we are doing is lighting that spark to bring in the ignition of that, even though they may not have a clue who they are here to be. We will come in the Vessel Marilyn's workshop, Stop Self-Sabotage, at the end, and we will state the purpose of each person that is present. So you see, just as we stated your purpose, that you are the divine catalyst in that balance of masculine and feminine. So we honor you, dearest Amber. And we honor your audience, your friends, in the sacred mountains of Boulder, the iron that is that foundation from this planet in that space creates a vortex. You know this, yes? That vortex of energy to only allow the highest vibration of spiritual connection to take place there. And anything that is separate from that vibration will simply fall away. And it is a very powerful connection that you are building in Boulder. Does that make sense to you? You have a question, yes? About anything?
No, beautiful. Thank you.
Yes. With that energy of moving forward, we just want each being that hears this message to just open their heart and feel the resonance of the vibration within themselves, to say yes to themselves, say yes to moving through old fears, old programs, old habits, old energy that yourselves are just simply ready to be done with. And in doing so, the laughter and the joy that comes in to replace it is so astounding that the energy becomes almost glittery in joy, vibration of humanity there in Boulder. And from Boulder, what happens when we look into the energy, time is just a linear thing, it does not exist. So we can stand in our meeting room that we are in Boulder now, and when we look into that energy, we are seeing the rippling effect of an amazing iridescent white and violet light that is radiating out from that meeting room around the planet and connecting with the emerald grid of the planet to reflect that healing back to all of the people on the planet, not just the people that are in Boulder, and then to connect with the golden grid to reflect it out to the galaxies. So they each carry that awareness from, if you would, even the crown chakra of the violet of the knowledge, but as it shifts into the iridescent white, that is the understanding of the wisdom and knowledge that we've been gaining since 2012, as you see, and reaching back to the Lemurians as you are, or forward, as you are connecting into that balance of the goddess energy, of the sisterhood. That balance that you are bringing forward is a part of that radiant wrap of this planet. So, dearest being of light that you are, we just have to say how honored we are that we get to indeed stand, sit, be side by side with you in person. It is an honor to be in your presence, and an honor to acknowledge the work. We like to call it the plurk, the play plus work equals plurk, that you are doing, and the vessel Marilyn is doing, as well as Lee and Cryon and Pragit and Alcazar, and all of the energies of humanity will feel that vibration in kicking off or popping into 2017, because that is the year that the dream of humanity, the vision of humanity, will take a very strong foothold, anchoring into the core, so it can then be developed and built forward. So that is why there's just so much deep, deep change in this world, and in preparation for the next evolutionary step of humanity, which is what you are each a part of. You understand that?
Beautiful. Yes.
You have
Thank
question about anything, eh?
Sure. What do you see as really the purpose, in a grander way, of those of us that travel the world, the vessel Marilyn, Lee Carroll, Pragit, all the people of the Cryon team and other spiritual teachers that are traveling now, precedented amount of reaching around the world in the physical. How is that affecting what's humanity?
Well, you see, that is a wonderful question. What we are seeing, and there are more spiritual teachers, more channels, more healing practitioners on this planet now than ever before. And what you and the group of individuals that are sort of transversing the planet, going from country to country, north to south, continent to continent, meridian to meridian, all ley line to ley line, all node to node, all of those are about anchoring in that evolutionary energy of divine order, so that the humanity that is experiencing some challenges, as they have been, that humanity, it gives them something tools that they can use to assist in their transformation. So you're acknowledging and awakening thousands, millions of people to the fact that those tools are already within them, that you and Lee and Pragit and the vessel Marilyn and us and all the other teachers and channels from the light, divine links, partners as they were, are acknowledging that vibrational frequency of humanity as it, in this next year, takes its place amongst the galaxies as sacred teachers. And when you are crisscrossing the planet, you are laying in those pathways of divine peace, of divine manifestation, of enlightened love, and to honor that love as knowing and acknowledging that, yes, you are different than this person. You have a different energy, you have a different religion, you have a different, but to know that you are both right. That once you have that true God, as you put it, source, as we put it, it is all the same. And that is what is happening right now for the planet as it is coming through, for the ignition. And that is why some of you are thinking, well, why do I have a home? I live out of my suitcase all of the time, yes?
Yeah.
But you have that home so you can, even if it is just for a few moments to do your laundry. It is about anchoring in that energy in Boulder, anchoring in that energy in Missouri. If you will look at the sacred lines that Simon Peter Fuller wrote many, many years ago about the ley lines of the planet, the same ley lines that go from Boulder, your area, go through Mount Shasta, go through Springfield, Missouri. So those spiritual teachers are working with those ley lines, those energy lines, and all of the nodes and the nodes are also on those same lines. So it is a powerful energy that you are doing. So we are so honored that you rose up your hand and said, yes, we volunteer for this mission, even though sometimes you think, what am I doing here? Does that answer your question? Yes?
Beautiful, very, very fully. Thank you. I have one more, if you don't mind.
Yes.
So for the people who are not traveling the planet and maybe don't even, for whatever reason, can't or don't come to an event, but want to be part of the transformation of their own and of the consciousness of the planet, what can they do?
Well, dearest, it is so important because you and the vessel Marilyn, Lee, are forming a camaraderie, a community. And if a person, cannot travel to one location or another, which, in some aspects one might think, how could you miss something because they're everywhere?
Yes.
If it is possible to connect through virtual reality, that is why you are directed to have a regular online community. You are directed, the vessel Marilyn is directed, many are directed to have a virtual community online through the magic of the internet. So that is one way that you can stay connected. The vessel Marilyn, we do the double digit on the 112233, of the year. Another way that they can be connected is to bring in the artwork, bring in the book, bring in the oracle cards, bring in that energy of product that carries a specific vibration of the creator, like the manifestation cards from Lee and Monica. They carry that specific vibration, and they can bring that into their home, and that will actually help ignite that energy of community. And by doing and we would say that it is, you don't have to have the recording or the broadcast or whatever there to anchor that energy within the cells of your body for transformational change, because the universe wants all the people on the planet to awaken. And so not all can do that physical connection, or, surprisingly in this day and age, the internet connection. But we would say, for people who are listening to this, if they know of others that cannot get involved in an online community of some sort or a different community, to reach out to them and assist. We have actually begun doing groups in our monthly message and encouraging people to bring together physical people in a support group that maybe cannot travel, that maybe cannot get online in their home, to have a location where it can be produced. And it is so important in the changes that are to come that community, the Cryon community, that the Amber, the Lemurian Sisterhood community, the Adironnda community, the double digit, the Pragit, the Stargate community, that all of these spiritual teachers, you have to stop and look and say, well, why does everyone have their community? Because they do. Because they are all getting the same, all the spiritual teachers are getting the same message, to awaken the group consciousness, the mass consciousness. And you know that when two or more are gathered together, that magnifies that energy times 144 times the number of people that are gathered.
Yes.
So that is the mass consciousness in flux and manifestation right there, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. You have more questions, yes?
That was great. I feel complete in my questions.
Ah,
Thank you.
Well, we are honored by your presence, dearest. We are honored by your work. We are your clerk. We are honored that you pack up that suitcase and travel with Cryon and Lee and help ignite the mass consciousness of this planet. And we know that your Lemurian sisterhood brings the planet into that place of balance. And we are honored by you and your presence. And we return you to our vessel, Marilyn, as we bid you namaste.
Namaste. Thank you so much.
Whew. Wow.
Wow, that was fun.
Yeah. I learned a few
you.
things there. Thank you. Thank you, Amber, for all that you do.
Oh, thank you for that. That was completely unexpected. I just thought it was going to be channeling. I didn't know it was going to point at me. Good thing I brushed my teeth and washed my face. Right?
That's right. That's right. You know, that's Adironnda. I've discovered in working with Adironnda, who is not came to me from the outside. They're not my higher self. A lot of people think that they ought to be, and we have merged together over the years. But they love question and answer, because it's like they know your questions, but to verbalize a question is to own that question and receive that answer. And so that's cool. We like it.
Yeah, very nice. Well, that was, a little bonus for me. Thank you so very, very much. And I so look forward to playing with you in a few weeks. Is there anything else you'd like to add? I feel like I've had you and Adironnda so much that I don't want to leave anything out, if there's anything else.
Well, I know that people that listen to this may change their travel schedule to accommodate our workshop on Friday before everything gets started. And that the people that are there, I know, will trust that they are the divinely destined people that are supposed to be there. And then we can play on Friday and relax on Friday night as the events kick off on Saturday. So thank you. I'm just appreciative of you including me in this experience.
Yeah, of course. It's my honor to have you here. All of us are honored by your presence. And having a woman channeler, that's kind of just a good thing, dear to my heart, the feminist that I am.
Yes, yes, I agree.
Yeah. So, well, thank you so much, sweetie. And we'll see this recording up online pretty soon. And I'll see you just on the other side of 2017.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Have a great rest.
Thank you.